In November, I told you about 2 Parkinson's vaccines that were being developed to target the toxic alpha-synuclein clumps. Then, on December 11th, 2025, AC Immune released interim phase 2 results that made a lot of Parkinson's researchers stop and pay attention. Because for the first time, a vaccine showed signals it might actually slow Parkinson's progression, not just treat the symptoms. Today, I'm going to break this down in plain English for you. I'm going to explain the 3 most important signals of the data, the biggest caveats, and what happened to the other vaccine I covered. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm just a daughter who cared for my mom through her Parkinson's journey. I make these videos in honor of her in hopes of helping people navigate this complicated disease. All right, let's talk about what happened in the Parkinson's vaccine research recently. In my November video, I covered 2 Parkinson's vaccines in clinical trials, both targeting alpha-synuclein. So what are those alpha-synuclein clumps and why do they matter? In Parkinson's, there's a protein called alpha-synuclein. It misfolds and clumps together inside brain cells, especially the cells that produce dopamine. These clumps are toxic. They damage and eventually kill the cells. And as more cells die, Parkinson's symptoms just get worse. Both vaccines are designed to train your immune system to recognize these toxic clumps and clear them out before they can do any damage. One is UB312 from Vaxxinity. Their phase 1 trial showed it was safe and generated antibodies. I'll update you on that one shortly. The second one is ACI 7104. It's from AC Immune, a Swiss biotech company. When I made that November video, their phase 2 trial had already begun. And on December 11th, they released their interim phase 2 data. And this is where things get really interesting. So, when researchers evaluate a possible disease-modifying therapy, there are 3 big questions that they ask. Number 1, did it do what it was designed to do? In this trial, 100% of the vaccinated patients developed antibodies against alpha-synuclein. Not most of the people, not many of them, all of them. That matters because if a vaccine can't reliably trigger an immune response, nothing else matters. So this one did. That was huge. Now, question number 2. Did those antibodies reach the brain? Blood antibodies are not enough. The target is inside the brain. And this vaccine passed the test. Antibodies were found in the cerebrospinal fluid. That's the fluid that surrounds the brain and the spinal cord, at hundreds of times higher than the placebo group. So in plain English, the immune response didn't stay in the bloodstream. It reached the disease site in the brain. Wow. Okay, now question number 3. Did it change the disease biology? This is the big one. The researchers measured biomarkers associated with nerve damage and disease progression. One of the most important is the neurofilament light chain, which is a protein released when brain cells are injured. In Parkinson's, this normally rises over time. And that's exactly what happened in the placebo group. But in the vaccine group, it stayed stable. That suggests the rate of nerve injury may have slowed. They also saw supportive trends in other markers, inflammation indicators, total alpha-synuclein patterns, and brain imaging measuring dopamine transporter activity. All of them pointed in the same direction, biological stabilization. So what about the symptoms? Okay, so this was a small phase 2 trial. It wasn't designed to prove clinical benefit, but they did track motor symptoms using the MDS UPDRS Part 3 scale. I did a whole video about that. If you're interested, go watch it. It's very interesting. Anyway, so they were testing tremor, rigidity, slowness, balance, etc. They saw a trend towards slower worsening of the symptoms in the vaccine group. So in practical terms, both groups got worse over the study term, but the vaccinated group got worse more slowly. That's exactly what you'd expect from a disease-modifying therapy. Not improvement necessarily, but less decline. And the safety profile was strong. The most common side effects were injection site reactions, headaches, and fatigue, all mild, no serious vaccine-related adverse events. No one dropped out because of side effects. Nothing here raises a red flag. So what does this all mean? This vaccine, the one from AC Immune, triggered antibodies in 100% of patients, got those antibodies into the brain, stabilized multiple disease biomarkers, showed trends towards slowing clinical decline, and was well tolerated. For the first time, an active immunotherapy vaccine is showing signals it might slow Parkinson's progression. Not cure it, not reverse it, but possibly slow it. And speed of progression is everything in Parkinson's. So what does this mean and what does it not mean? Let's be very clear here. This is not a cure. This will not undo damage that's already happened. What this represents, if confirmed in a phase 3 trial, is a disease-modifying therapy, something that could slow how fast Parkinson's progresses. Every drug we use today treats symptoms. None of them change the underlying biology. This vaccine targets the suspected driver of the disease itself. Imagine if someone newly diagnosed today could take a therapy that slows progression by even just 20 or 30%. That could mean the difference between needing to use a cane at 5 years progression to maybe year 10 or 12, or maintaining your independence much longer before needing full-time care. Years more of independence, years more of mobility, years more of clarity. But, and this matters, this is just interim phase 2 data and only 34 patients. Final phase 2 results are expected in mid-2026. Phase 3 trials with hundreds of patients will still be required. AC Immune has already announced they are meeting with regulatory agencies to pursue an accelerated development path. One of the world's leading Parkinson's researchers said, "For the first time, we are seeing signals that targeting the underlying pathology with active immunotherapy could slow disease progression." I don't know about you, but this is pretty exciting to me. If this vaccine were available today, knowing what we know, would you take it? Or would you give it to your loved one? Or would you wait for the phase 3 results? Tell me in the comments. I really want to hear what you think. And while you're there, also give the video a thumbs up. That would be fantastic. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future content. Okay, so now let's talk about the other vaccine, UB312 from Vaxxinity. Their phase 1 results were published in 2024 and showed safety and antibody generation. They completed a small phase 1b study in 2025, but the results haven't been published yet. Now, that doesn't mean that it failed. Many times, smaller biotech companies often pause to secure funding and pharmaceutical partners before releasing their data. Vaxxinity has stated publicly that they are seeking partners to help fund phase 2. The important takeaway is this. We now have more than one vaccine platform in development. That matters. Redundancy is how breakthroughs survive. Okay, so here's the honest timeline for all of this for the AC Immune vaccine. Final phase 2 data is expected sometime mid-2026. Then the phase 3 trials would probably start in late 2026 or early 2027. The trial completion would be in 2028 or 2029. Then FDA review takes an additional 6 to 12 months after all of that. So best case realistic scenario, late 2029 or 2030. This sounds far away, I get it, but in drug development, this is actually pretty fast. And phase 3 trials will likely begin recruiting much sooner. If you have early Parkinson's and are interested in clinical trials, either learning more about them or maybe participating in one, this is something you'll want to watch closely and maybe talk to your neurologist about. So in closing, so 1 month after I covered Parkinson's vaccines in November, AC Immune released phase 2 results that represent genuine scientific progress. For the first time, a vaccine targeting alpha-synuclein showed multiple biological signals consistent with slowing Parkinson's progression. Remember, this is not a cure. It's not available yet, but it's real progress. I'll continue following this closely and updating you as new data is released. If this video helped you, please share it with someone else who may also need this information. And please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I make all these videos in honor of my mom and for every family affected by Parkinson's disease. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.